Hey kids, welcome to another episode of How the DAWSage is Made. Today we finish up a trio of videos on how to program for the Redrum drum machine in Reason, so check that out. Next week we return with Rob's Random Ringtones, where I combine pop and country in hopefully an interesting and creative manner. So right now I'm still letting my subconscious chew on that. I've been listening to various types of pop music, have had some revelations in that regard, and I will share them with you next time. So right now, let's see how we can program the Redrum drum machine, and thanks for watching. Please check out my Patreon channel at patreon.com/DAWSage, D-A-W-S-A-G-E, and also my YouTube channel, How the DAWSage is Made. And also my music channel, howtunes.com, HOUGHTOONZ, and see some of the other stuff that I've created outside of the DAWSage universe. Okay, thanks. Enjoy. To program the patterns in the sequencer, what you do is you go to your drum machine track. Now, I notice that this is dark green. So what I'm going to do is change the color of the track so that I can see it better. Okay, so now what we're going to do is change this lane instead of to a MIDI data lane. We're going to change it to a pattern lane, and you do that by clicking on this. So now this is a pattern lane. And then with the pencil tool, all you do is simply draw measures. And you notice here that shows where each of the patterns end and the next one starts. And right now, all of these are pattern A1, which is the first beat that we created. So that would be 8 measures of that beautiful, beautiful beat. If we wanted to put other beats in, what we need to do is go in and terminate the where A1 occurs, and then go and draw a new measure, and then go there and select a different pattern. Now we have A1 going to A2. Here we go. Pretty cool. And then let's put it in A3. So we draw another measure, and then we go to pattern 3. Let's hear all these together, please. Beautiful. And then we'll put the fill in. And here we go. That's beautiful, man. Now, if we go to A1 and put that in here again, those of you who are drum aficionados who have listened to music know that there's something missing. So let's listen to A4 going into A1. What's missing? What does every drummer enjoy doing at the end of a fill? Other than having a bite of their Big Mac. That's right, hitting the cymbal. Now, we could go to Redrum and do a new pattern. Let's say do a copy of pattern 1, but have it start with a cymbal hit. So we could do that. Go to pattern 1. Command C, go to here, pattern 5, Command V, paste. All right, so now we have this drum beat here. But now we're going to add a cymbal crash at the beginning of it. So we go to here, cymbal crash, and that would sound like this. And then we could take pattern 5 in the sequencer. Are you following me? And put that here. And then get over here, you playhead. And then play this back. Wait. Right? So A5 is the same as A1, except it has a cymbal crash at the end of it. But then that takes up one whole pattern just because of one slight difference. So in my book, there's a better way to do this. And this kind of opens up to the other type of programming, is that we could make a new lane by clicking on here, but not make it a pattern select lane, make it a MIDI note drum writing lane, draw a measure here. Oh, and we want to put A1 over here, and then put this lane above that, double click, and now we can program a cymbal crash on the first beat of measure 5. These are all the drums here, by the way, that are in the redrum. This is just like clicking on the play button at the top of each of the drum sounds. But instead, on the first beat of measure 1, that's what 5.1 means, we're going to go and write a cymbal crash. So now, instead of making a whole other pattern, we just add on to the patterns that we've been making by drawing a note lane figure, notational hoo-ha, on top. Here is what we have so far. There you go. And then you just make your drum fills and your beats and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you listen to a lot of music, and I want you to start listening to a lot of music. In fact, if you haven't been listening to a lot of music, that means you don't like music. And if you don't like music, why are you watching this video? And notice that how drum beats vary and how much repetition there is. And you'll realize that you can get a lot of mileage out of just that much programming. I have written songs, not that they're great songs, not that you've ever heard them, so how would you know? Where I've used maybe just 3 to 5 patterns. That's what I'm getting at, is there's a lot of power to this. There's a lot to be taken advantage of in terms of using the same kind of patterns over and over. And this will get you started making music, which is really the whole point. So what I encourage you to do is to start with that basic system that I showed you, with the bass drums being on 1 and 3, which is steps 1 and 9, snare drum on 2 and 4, which is 5 and 13 in this case, and then start messing around by adding stuff. Oh, and the hi-hat, don't forget the hi-hat on all the odd numbers. Here we go, governor, right? Just mess around with some of these things that I showed you. Start with them, but then add stuff to it. And the other thing is to just go to a blank pattern and just go click crazy. Why not? Here's the bass drum part. I don't know what it is. You know, the human brain is such that you could probably give it anything and it would make some kind of sense out of it, especially if it's repeated over and over again. And then let's go to the snare drum and add this. Okay, now we have these. You know what I'm saying. Experiment. All right, so that's my little spiel on the real drum machine. Thank you. See you next time on how the DAWSage is made.